I'd like to talk about relating and connection, having connection, okay, within grief. Before we go into that discussion, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Ghazala at the Heart and Soul Cafe. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're here for the first time, then welcome aboard. Okay. So let's talk about relating within grief and what that means. And really what that means to me. And I'd like to share some experiences with you. And then I would really love it if we could have a bit of a discussion about it. So, maybe, for you to make, to comment and for us to sort of start up a discussion, whether things resonate with you and whether they don't, really is what it's about. So if I go back to the time before I got married, which was a few years ago, so the group of friends I had when I was at college was probably about 5 or 6 of us, and we were quite close. We spent a lot of time together, studying together, we'd socialize together. Sometimes we'd go to each other's houses and be involved in sort of family events as well for, some of us, so we were quite close. And then I got married. I think I was probably the first out of this group of friends to actually get married. And when I did, I found that there was a change, there was a shift. It was unusual, really. It's hard to explain, but things like, for example, times where I might have dropped everything and got over to a friend's house, or we might have decided to go out for a meal or go out to see a film, possibly, that kind of thing. And there's somebody else for me to consider then, and it doesn't always, it's not quite as easy to just, at a drop of a hat, go and be a part of, be a part of that group again. So things were a little bit different because I had someone else to consider, someone else in my life to consider. So things changed, and then what happened I found was slowly we became a little bit distant. And it wasn't until, another couple of those friends actually got married as well that we had a little bit in common again. And it's quite strange, isn't it, the way that happens? But that's what happened, and that's how I remember it. Then sort of come fast forward a little bit. Things changed again when I had, children, when I had my first child. So there I was then, a married lady with a child, and friends that I maybe had at that time who didn't have children. Again, you don't really maybe see eye to eye, that you don't have as much to talk about perhaps, and you can sort of drift apart, but drift apart naturally, not that you fall out or anything like that, but you just drift apart a little bit naturally, and that sort of happens. Then if I fast forward again to, and then really, you sort of connect with people that do have children. Yeah. So, it sort of changes and shifts. It's not that you're left without friends. You just find people that, are your people. And that's really what I'm talking about in this video. Again, fast forward to the time when, I lost my son very sadly 4 years ago. Oh, it shifted again. I found that there were some, not lots of my friends, no, it was one or two people. I've sort of mentioned, I mentioned one of these two people in a previous video as well. So what happened was I felt that sometimes people can't connect with you in a way that they did before, as a result of what's happened in your life and the change and the shift that you've had in your life. It's caused a little bit of a void between you and other people sometimes. Either they feel awkward about addressing the subject, or they feel awkward about avoiding the subject, or they feel awkward about both, avoiding and, sort of mentioning anything about. And sometimes people just don't know how to behave around you. They feel that they're sort of walking on eggshells, and it's not like that. It's just how that person maybe feels, for whatever reason. So you find again that you've disconnected with some people, and you're you're going through your own struggles and your own journey, if you like, of grief and bereavement. And I suppose you can't focus in on it well, very near the beginning of when you've first had your loss, because that's not important to you. How people are reacting to you, that's not what you're thinking about at that point. So that's irrelevant. But as you sort of move on, and you sort of go forward, you then start realizing who your friends are, and those people that have sort of stuck by you, and not just for the good times, but they've been there for the difficult times, and for those times where they maybe have felt uncomfortable, but they're still there for you. Because it doesn't mean to say that your friends that you have still after your loss are some kind of experts in grief. They're not all experts in grief. In fact, I don't think any of my friends who have stuck by me are experts in grief. They may be grieving in their own way, perhaps, but they're not experts, and neither am I. So, it's just relating, isn't it? It's relating and connecting. So it's really, really important, if you do feel in that position where after loss you felt that people are distant from you for whatever reason, and it's not anything to do with you, it's them, it's how they're seeing things and how they're not seeing things, and it's how they maybe feel that they want to avoid the situation, they want to avoid certain conversations, they don't want to go there. And that might be how they're feeling. So it could be whatever the reasons are. We're not sure about that, but it's how you feel, isn't it? It's what you need. And what's important is to find your people, so that you can make a meaningful connection with others. And when I say meaningful connections, I mean people that get you, people that you can share with, people that then don't sort of roll their eyes and sort of think, oh, here we go again, just talking about it, that kind of thing. You don't really want that. You don't need that. And sometimes, we can feel that we are a burden on people around us, because we don't want to keep talking about the same thing over and over again, that, we've had that conversation with them, and you then feel, you might not be burdening them. But you might feel as if you are, and you feel sort of uncomfortable about going to that subject again with that same person. So I think it's really, really important to find your people, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why I've started this YouTube channel, and probably to find my people. I think maybe I've got to that stage where it's been 4 years since I lost my son, and I have done things since then. I have, started a charity in his name. I have volunteered for another charity where I counsel and support women. A lot of you will know that already. But there's things that I'm doing. But I think I felt a few months ago, and this has been quite a few months actually, because I've started a YouTube channel and then deleted it. I've started a YouTube channel before and not put anything on it, so it just sat there. And so this time I've actually started a YouTube channel and started posting. A few weeks later, I've started actually posting on it, and it hasn't even been 2 weeks yet, so it's very early days. So I think I came to, I don't know if dead end is the right word. Actually, it might be. I think I felt as if, well, I'm doing things in honor of my son, and that was the goal. But I felt also that I came to a part in my life where I sort of started feeling, oh, I think I could do this. I think I need to do something more. And doing this has been therapeutic for me, because I'm sat here talking, to my phone. Well, I'm not talking to my phone. I think in the beginning it felt as if I'm closed up in a room by myself, and then I'm talking to my phone. And how bizarre is that? Something that I've not done before, and that's almost, quite close to, ridiculous. But But no, I soon realized that no, this is quite therapeutic for me because I'm sharing things that I haven't ever spoken about before. That in itself is quite liberating for me and quite what's the right word? I don't know, maybe cathartic. I don't know if cathartic is the right word either. But what it is it's allowing me to offload and share things that I haven't done before. And that probably is a very, very good thing for me because, you know, because of the work that I do, you know, deliver mental health. I'm talking about mental health and bereavement and loss, you know, quite a lot of hours in the week is what I do. So I think for me to, you know, to talk about myself and to talk about my experiences, and I think it's probably a good thing. The other thing that I felt that I wanted to do was raise awareness about mental health, around bereavement and grief, and help others. Help others, try and build a platform, try to build a community, and that way I can connect and relate, and we know, and like-minded people can sort of come together, and you know, we don't feel that, oh, we can't talk about this because you know, we don't really want to. And you know, the thing is that you can laugh and cry at the same time, and that's okay. And we understand that when we're you know, when we're grievers, we can we can understand that we can. It's not all about, oh, we're just all doom and gloom and we're all, you know, dragging our jaws along the floor. It's not like that. It's not like that. You know, we can still appreciate, you know, life, and appreciate, you know, our gifts that we have, and have gratitude, and you know, and still talk about loss. So it's not all just, you know, here's you know, this miserable, you know, community or club that I want to create. It's not that at all. It's not that at all. So anyway, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. So that's it. That's really how I feel that it's important that we find our people, and we can connect, and we can relate, and we can share things, and the other person, you know when the other person gets you, and you know that they're nodding, and they say something, and then you're nodding, and you say, okay, you know, we're talking that same language, and you know, we can, you know, and you get that thing where you feel as if you're sat with an old friend, because we've connected, you know, in such a meaningful way that you feel as if you know the other person, you know, because grief is something that, you know, we can all experience, and it doesn't have a language, does it? It has its own language, and you know, you can connect with people. Yes, so that's really what this is, what my goal is. I mean, I will talk about if this YouTube channel becomes, you know, monetized, and I start earning some money from it, then I will actually share what I want to do with that money, because I don't need any more money to live on, and I'm going to be honest and open about that. You know, I'm in a position where, you know, I have enough. So if I am lucky enough for this channel to become monetized, then we'll see when we get to that, you know, to that part. And if that is the case, then I will share what I want to do with that, you know, with those funds. And yeah, so I'll do that later on, yeah, if we get there. I think first of all, we've got a bit of a long road to go before we get to that. But let's hope we do, you know, because at the moment it all feels good. It feels like I'm doing the right thing. You know, my family might not agree with that, although I've not really discussed it with them. They know that I'm doing something, but they're not really questioning me about it, and that's good. They're just sort of avoiding the subject, which I think right now, I think that's probably the best thing. You know, they might appreciate it one day. You know, we've got a whole library of videos that their mums recorded. You know, it might be of some use to them. Who knows? All right. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you. Thank you for coming along. I so appreciate it. Please, like, subscribe, share, comment, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you. Look after your heart and souls. Thank you.